The kaupapa talking to me in Māori and me just having to smile and nod.
Te mana Māori, I roto i a tātou nei.
My Māori meter just went, oh! Kia ora, I'm Toi. A few years ago, I put on 80 kgs in 6 months. It was the sickest I've been physically and mentally. Then I met Pab, personal trainer, nature lover, free spirit, and wild beast. In just a year, he helped me drop 50 kgs. I was looking more like my handsome self on the outside, but on the inside, I was still fucked. I was only focusing on my taha tinana and neglecting the other 3 taha.
Welcome back, brother.
So now, Pab and I are connecting with a bunch of kaupapa to figure out what guys like us can do to look after all aspects of our hauora and truly become all goods.
So how are you feeling about the hīkoi, my bro?
Apprehensive. I always get a bit anxious, kind of like going back to the marae. I feel like I'm just going to be surrounded by all these mega Māoris that's just going to exacerbate how I feel about my connection to my culture.
Mum grew up without her reo. Her parents could speak, but they grew up in a pretty rough time to be Māori and they wanted to be white, and she was always confused because she would hear her dad speaking Māori with his cousins and with his friends, but then it was almost like forbidden, you know, like it was talk that in the shadows and be nice and white in the light.
From a young age, I was always kind of like insecure about my Māoridom, and I think that will always affect your hauora, you know, because you're always going to have this like identity crisis and you feel unworthy and you feel like you have to do all these things to earn what's already yours.
Māori credits.
Yeah.
When you go into a setting that's not a Māori setting, do you feel not Māori in those settings? Do you feel Pākehā?
Well, I just feel a bit stranded in between, you know, like I'm intimidated to talk to Māori people because I almost feel like they'll be like, plastic, you know? Like I feel like the plastic meter will just go off immediately. Like, even to how I sound, like in high school, the amount of people that will be like, oh, you don't sound Māori. And I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, what does that sound like?
What do you think you can do to feel more Māori in these settings?
I think for me, it's always been about getting my reo, because that's just the gateway into the world. But that is also a big commit, you know, like that takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. I'm keen as for the hīkoi and to be there and to be amongst that kaupapa, but I also am nervous but keen for the idea of it being just the most full-on exposure therapy, you know, like just jump in the deep end.
You're gonna learn how to swim today. Here we go, boy. See you later.
Yeah.
Passionate but peaceful. The nationwide hīkoi today finally arriving at Parliament after a 9-day journey from Bluff in the south and Cape Reinga in the north, bringing their protest about the controversial Treaty Principles Bill all the way to the steps of power.
Walking into the hīkoi was like nothing I'd ever experienced. There were so many proud Māori in one place. Their confidence in their Māoritanga was inspiring, but confronting. Maybe my need to connect with my own Māoritanga is deeper than I thought.
I think that tuakiritanga is a big part of who we are as a culture and as a people. You know, having the foundations to know where we come from and where our roots are and where we can stand in the world.
Well, it is really important to know where you're from, and our kids know that. Yeah, and they see that within ourselves as well, even the ones that have been marginalised and is now coming back to the kaupapa. Yeah, I think that's a big force too, because our tamariki are our drive for our future, of course.
Throughout the day, I would track how Māori I felt. I was kind of monitoring this imaginary meter called the Māori meter, going around and talking to people and seeing everyone and being super proud and singing the waiata, huge.
Te mana Māori, I roto i a tātou nei. Kia popua ke e arahitoni a tātou.
The kaupapa talking to me in Māori and me just having to smile and nod just went, boom! I kind of was like shitting my pants because I was like, oh man, like, I can't speak, I don't know what he's saying, he's probably saying some really great stuff. That was a pretty like harsh reminder.
Pea ki te kaupapa o te rā, te reo Māori.
But then at the same time, you know, when he had sort of done his spiel, I was like, hey, I don't speak Māori.
Ka huri ki te reo Māori.
Oh, kaya pai. That's all right.
He could have easily just been like, he sort of just like laughed and gave me a whack on the shoulder. I was like, oh, well, why didn't you say that earlier?
Kia ora. Ki mātua.
That experience made me want to learn te reo Māori even more and helped me realise that maybe there's not as much judgment out there as I thought.
How are you feeling?
Probably not a word that I would normally use, but invigorated. I feel fucking energised by this space and all the positivities that is here. And I guess it's normally the negative connotations that always get told. And I just wish that others could come and experience this for themselves without any judgment of the kaupapa, just so they can see how beautiful Māori culture is. That's...
Yeah, even just like being able to strike up conversations with random people, like something I never do. But everyone's super keen to talk, everyone's super keen to share.
Everyone's open, eh?
The longer I was there, the more comfortable I got. And the more it hit home how important connecting to our culture is for our hauora. And that was the first time I really felt it myself.
Oh, that's the second time that's happened. Sorry, Pip's phone got dropped because she was too busy having fun.
It's been wonderful to be part of the hīkoi, from Te Rerenga Wairua all the way to Pōneke. My sovereign peoples, we are here and we're not going anywhere.
Feeling Māori to me is, I don't know, for the first time at like an event like that, I just felt comfortable. Like there were people just speaking Māori everywhere as they walked past us. It just felt normal. I don't even know what being Māori feels like because I am, and I don't really know anything else. The hīkoi really motivated me to commit to learning te reo Māori. I know it's not going to magically fix everything I feel about my identity, but at least it's a start. I think I've made the excuse of like always being too busy, being too broke, trying to fix my weight problem, but these things are all interconnected. I think it's I need to make space in my life for this if I'm going to take this seriously.
Post hīkoi, rinse off, cleanse, in the dirty ass water.
Well, Herne Bay's a lot worse than this, my young boy. Let's do this.